Hi everyone, it's Roger here from What's on Disney Plus.com with the weekly Q&A. So these questions have all come in through our Patreon and also YouTube channel members. We've also got a live chat going on right now. And I'm going to say a couple of things first off. First off, it is absolutely baking here in the United Kingdom. We've got a heat wave going on. So I have got the window open. I have got a fan on because it's like 30 odd degrees. I've got a panting bulldog beside me, and I've also got my new little puppy that I have just got literally this week. So she's making a little debut. So she's on my lap. She might disappear. She might make a few squeaks. And unfortunately, this week, due to issues, I couldn't at my normal time. So I just slightly pulled it forward a little bit earlier so we could carry on. So the aim is to go forward till about 8 o'clock. So that's the plan. So if you've got any live chats, so we've got Sarah in here, we got Caleb, we've also got Joe. Thank you very much for joining in. Hopefully you can all hear me, which is definitely a cool thing moving forward. So yeah, so there we go. So there is hello to everyone. So yeah, so Lulu's just literally falling asleep on my lap, so that's great. So if she does squeal, we'll be kind of popping her down. Right, okay. So yeah, she's just lying down. So see if she can settle down. Luckily they don't stay this size for too long because she's diddy. She's on my lap. Right. Lulu is the name. That's what Lady Jennifer Snow. Her name is Lulu. And my wife got to pick her this time since I got Leia last time. I wanted to call her Chewie, but I couldn't get away with it. So because I thought she looked like a Chewbacca. But there we go. So here we go. So let's jump into some of the questions first off. Okay. Oh, I'm just going to pop her down. Pop her down here. Right, okay. So Connor asks, how do you think Marvel Studios should tackle mutants? I'm thinking an origin film followed by a TV series with a live action version of the Fox TV show. For me personally, I think what they should do with the mutants is maybe bring them up in conversations about some mutagen, say that something's happening, say that something's going on, and maybe not necessarily go full in on like the X-Men and the rest of it, but just start laying in the foundation for that there are mutants and something's happening. We might see something just because of like with Miss Marvel. I don't know, obviously she's an Inhuman, whether or not they might change something up there, but I personally think they should just start introducing them somehow and then doing it that way. I don't necessarily think an animated series. I really feel like for the X-Men, we should get a movie to kick things off, because there's such a big set of characters. We want the X-Men to be a big movie, and then they can expand it with little cartoons and do something like that. So that's definitely a way to move forward. Okay, so we got some live chat. So thank you very much to Show Guy 89 who has subbed just for the dog. Yes, she is rather cute. I am literally keeping my eye on her because she is jumping around all over the place. We've got a few other people in the live chat as well. See there, we've got Joshua. We've also got Ricardo. Again, let's just jump back into some of these other questions. So this one was from Caleb, and there's our title one really for this week's episode. I've noticed that Universal made a deal to have their films on Peacock and on Amazon Netflix in rotation. Do you feel they don't have much faith in Peacock as an entertainment streaming service? For me, I feel like not Amazon, but Comcast, they seem to be going with the idea of their movies are worth money and they want to make money and they don't care how they make money. They just want to put it on as many streaming platforms, whoever's willing to pay. And if Netflix and Amazon are willing to pay, then they will do it. From Amazon and Netflix point of view, I think why not? They pay access to get. Peacock seems to be this idea that nothing is permanent. They aren't worried about it being a vault. It's not something that they kind of want to jump into. They're not worried about that whole legacy side of things. It's just like it's like a TV station. Things come, things go. It's not permanent, and I think they've got just a different mindset with how they think of all of this with Comcast, and so they're letting out their movies and stuff to everyone because they just want the money. Disney have done it with a few little things as well. They've done it with a few things where they've let. I think like there was one recently on Netflix, a woman in the window with Amy Adams. That was like sold off to Netflix recently as well. Everything about Jamie, I think that was sent off to Amazon. So they're willing to sell stuff maybe if they want it. And obviously Disney have brought rights to Sony's movies for like pay 2 windows. So we're definitely seeing different ways of how they're kind of trying to make money. And I think Comcast are very much in the idea of trying to make more money from their movies, and that's kind of how it's kind of working. Okay, so Lego Plus has given us a super chat. Thank you very much for that. Really appreciate that. So your question was, when will the Night at the Museum movie come out? Well, they've not said when this new one's coming out. Now, they did say it was going to be coming out in 2021. Now, by my rights, we've only really got a few more months left. I mean, we've only really got like September, October, November, December. So we're only down to the last 4. I don't know. I would hold that back for maybe like Thanksgiving. I think it's a big enough name. It's an animated movie, so maybe a nice Christmas kind of thing. It did seem last year they did seem to drop a lot of like movies around Christmas. They were dropping like multiple, and we've not really had hardly any movies on Disney Plus this year. We've had what, Flora and Ulysses and Luca. You know, we've not really had a lot, so I think they're holding back for the Christmas period for that one. And thank you very much for becoming a silver member as well. Okay, let's jump in here, okay, and see. But let me know as well what you guys think of what Universal are doing with their streaming service. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Okay, so Connor asks, now we know more information about Star Plus in Latin America. Do you think that Disney will eventually fold ESPN Plus into Hulu and rename it Star Plus, or should Disney simply launch Star in the US and keep ESPN Plus as a separate platform? For me, I definitely feel like ESPN is a big enough brand in the US that they wouldn't want to. Why go to Star? ESPN Plus is a massive brand. It's known around the US. It's a big ring. You know, they got this Wide World Sports Center in Florida. That, you know, they've got restaurants and like sports centers and stuff like that in the middle of New York City. It's a big enough name. I think going over to Star is not a. I don't think they do it. I do think they are going to have to do something with Disney Plus with adding some more content. Now, whether or not they have Star as a branding within Disney Plus to kind of make it a little bit more unified, I think until they buy out Comcast, they kind of got their hands tied behind their back in the US. They can't be seen to be undermining Hulu. So I think if they were starting to put more things on there, that might be the issue. I could see Hulu continuing on as a premium service with live TV, with maybe a combo unit with like ESPN Plus kind of, and to make it like worthwhile, and then they'll slowly start introducing more stuff into Disney Plus. I think Hulu, I don't think ultimately they can make money from it from the advertising, so that might be the way. But I'm sure there's going to be something going on there. Kaylee said, I don't see Disney bringing Star brand to the US. However, I'm used to mention Star. Folks who aren't in the inner will be confused with Star. I think Star is just a bad name. It's just a dreadful name. I really think it was a bad name that they really could have done something a little bit better with. But again, Hulu's not that great going forward either. Okay, let's finish off and have a look here. So we had 2 more from Joseph. How come Black Widow is not showing up on the trending list, as it's doing really well, but it's not showing up on trending? I do feel with the trending chart right now, especially in the US, it seems to be dominated by like the kids shows. And I'm wondering if with the kids being off for the summer, that kids are just watching stuff in binge mode, and so therefore are watching loads of stuff. And Black Widow is not the kind of thing where you get lots of repeat viewing. And so whereas like these shows, kids are just watching one after another, and the way they get counted is much higher. So I definitely feel like that's the reason why Black Widow, it was trending last week when it came out, which I would have expected. But if you actually look at the US trending right now, there's hardly any movies on there. They're all just kid shows because they're just watching. It really does show what Disney Plus is right now. It's just Disney Channel shows. That's all what seems to be pulling people in. And obviously the movies. And then you've got like the originals pulling in a lot as well. And then you look on the UK list, and again, it's primarily TV series just pulling in. I don't think movies can pull in the same amount of minute. However they're counting it, they've made an adjustment on how they're viewing their trending, because like up till a few weeks ago, there was just movie, and then suddenly, like 1 week, they all just flipped over to kids' TV series, and like we've hardly seen any movies in it since. So I think there's been an adjustment there. Oh, hello to Lady Jennifer Snow. Thank you very much for the super chat. Very much appreciate that. That helps all towards supporting the channel and the podcast and everything. So is what if characters is what if characters we are familiar with but set in a multiverse, since they're taking on roles they previously haven't? This is a show I'm not too sure about. Okay, so in the comic books, and with What If, you kind of picked up the book, and it was always a kind of thing of, the question was, what if Peter Parker, what if Uncle Ben hadn't died? What if Spider-Man could kill? What if Frank Castle hadn't lost his family? What if all these kind of different stories? And I'm going to gather that will be along the lines of what would have happened if this had taken place, and it's kind of like a story that just goes along with it. And you've kind of got to, if it goes along the same line as the comic books, it's completely a one-off. You've just kind of got to take it for where it is. I'm really looking forward to this series because I love those comic books, the one-shots, and they can just do there's no interconnection. They're not linking off to any TV. They can literally just have a little bit of fun with it. They can, and there's a never-ending thing that they can do. They can just keep changing it, keep moving things around, and I think that's definitely a cool thing with What If. You can go back and do so many different variations of the TV series and new characters and go, well, what if, I don't know, what if the Ravengers were there instead of Guardians of the Galaxy? Or what if, Nick Fury didn't put together the Avengers? All those kind of things. And there's so many different things. You just keep going and going and going. Small little ones, big ones. And maybe as well, if they can bring in characters maybe from the comic books and from the TV series. Show Guy just said, what if Scarlet died instead of Quicksilver? They could have done something like that. Or what if, the Quicksilver hadn't died? What if, all kinds of things. It's going to be such an interesting series. But you've got to kind of think of it as a completely separate, each individual episode it won't have any connection to anything else. I think the multiverse, in terms of how it works with like Loki, I think they might just link it in a little bit like that to make it simplest for how it works. But I'm really excited about this series. But let me know if you're excited about What If as well. The final one from Patreon. And could Disney ever do polls of shows we could see on Fridays? There are some stuff that could be on the UK Disney Plus, but they could not do interactive. The problems with polls is they're very lopsided in terms of how they work. If you do a poll and say, here's 5 movies that we want to add, and if they're gonna add all 5 of them anyway, it doesn't really make any point. But also, you've kind of got this weird thing of, I don't know, it's such a weird one with like trying to get out of it's I don't know, it's such a strange one with how that all will work. And I definitely feel like, with polls, you've kind of got a situation where fans can change things, and maybe they don't buy the one, or they don't vote the one you want. I don't think you need it. I just feel like the feedback is enough, and polls make it look like you're listening, but ultimately half the time they've just like racked up 5 movies that you've already got lined up. Okay, so Lego Plus just added another question. When will the new Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie come out? Again, all we know, this is an animated movie, 2000, and it's coming out this year. And much like with the Night at the Museum movie, I'm expecting it probably around the Christmas period. Really bulk up with movies around that time, because they've seemed to have really hardly done any movies, and we've got quite a few. We've got Home Alone 4, which I think is going to be the big Christmas movie, Night at the Museum, and then we've got that one there, and there's a few other ones. I would suspect we will I definitely would think that would be a thing going forward. So that's when I would expect it. Maybe between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Okay, so that's all the Patreon ones. Let's have a look now at the live chats. Let's see what we've got going on in here. Okay, so Sarah said, I see you, President Loki. Look, I am going to get that pop vinyl. I'm definitely going to get that one. So Ricardo said, do you think that the case of Viacom CBS will be acquired by another company? It's been rumored Disney can take the chance to acquire the Indiana Jones films. I was reading something today on CBS on this whole situation, and I don't think Disney are anywhere near it, and I don't think they would be allowed to. I think they would have difficulty. Biden's administration seems to be a little bit more hotter on these mega mergers. I think there's going to be one picking them up. I just can't see Disney in a position. They need to buy out Hulu. They've got the parks and stuff. Let's see what other questions we've got here. It is very hot today, Joe. Yeah, it was so hot on Ireland. Glad to get to the swimming pool set up. It's been so hot here. The trouble is, here in the UK, when we get heat waves, it's usually a short period, and we don't really have air conditioning, so it's just a load of fans. So yeah, so that's fine. Josh has said, have they not already started showing the seeds in Falcon and the Winter Soldier with Marador? Yeah, they have been. They've kind of set up that there's, and I think that's the way to do it. Do little nuggets. Just keep building it up that way. So let's have a look here. So Frank said, I think Hulu should have a Disney Plus on Hulu Hub when select movies from Disney's library would come over to Hulu for a limited time. I personally would like, I think eventually what you're going to end up seeing is Hulu's going to include, I could see Hulu becoming like the Disney streaming bundle all in one, and you might end up like with Disney Plus built into Hulu. That might be a way of doing it. My bulldog here is snoring away. Let's see what else we got. Frank said, will The Walking Dead come to Hulu in the United States? No, the thing is why Walking Dead is here in the UK, and I think in Italy, and I think it might even be in the Netherlands, is Disney have the distribution rights to the series because of, for example, here in the UK, it aired on the Fox channel. So it's been airing over here for years on that channel, and they've got the rights to the movie, to the series. So they've kind of inherited it through the 20th Century Studios purchase. Whereas in the US, obviously it's on AMC, so that's why they don't have the right. I'm not joking. I just started season 8 just before we came on here. I was watching episodes. I'm really enjoying that series. I've completely been hooked on it. Let's see what else we've got here. Frank said, I think the reason why kids shows are trending is because of Disney's Plus title as the babysitting service. I 100% agree that Disney's got a major problem in the US with this babysitting service system. Loki is helping, but it could really do a little bit more. So Ricardo said Lionsgate now has 20% of Spyglass, including streaming rights for some sequels previously released by Disney. You think they want to keep it as one entity, or could they help? They could sell. They could sell them if they wanted to. I suppose sell them on to get some money back. I mean, Disney had to do that with Fox with some things, kind of clear it out. Khaled said, speaking of what if, I pre-ordered the Captain Carter Funko, starting a small Funko collection. Be wary. That can be a little bit tricky. I mean, I don't have as many pop vinyls. I actually have boxes of pop vinyls. I am looking at those what if ones, but I've decided rather than buying the Hydra Stomper, I'm going to buy the Lego set instead. I'm thinking I'm going to like mix up. I do like that Sharon Carter one because she's got the British Shield, so I think that one's definitely one I want to add into it. But I'm just waiting for them to pop up on Amazon to be so I can get them for Prime, because I know there's other companies that sell them, but often you have to pay for shipping, and I've worked out there's not. I mean, I just got the Jungle Cruise one literally arrived on Friday. My VCR says, were you disappointed that you didn't get a signed 8x10 of The Rock in the behind the attraction box? Oh, that would have been great. I would have loved that. I am a big fan of The Rock ever since the days of since he was rocking my Via, and just been a big fan of him. And I have luckily been fortunate enough to see him live wrestling number of occasions, including at WrestleMania 8 when he took on Hulk Hogan, and also Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 19. He was in a tag team match at WrestleMania 20 that we were at. And just in general, like he was on Raw. I went to a lot of Raws and SmackDowns when they were in the UK. So I've seen him live quite a few times, but I would have loved that in there. Kaylee said, I could definitely see Disney Plus as a hub on Hulu. I remember they announced ESPN Plus at the last ones. Could we see this at the next Investor Day? I think it's going to be a case of when rather than if, but whether or not there's going to be some more interconnectivity, and I think that's a good way of like boosting up. You know, that might be the way of getting around all what they're doing. Joe said, when do you think American Horror Stories and American Horror Story Season 10 will become to Disney Plus? I wonder when they'll announce it. It is very funny how they've really kind of like not said anything about it at all. And it is strange. It's kind of... I thought with American Horror Story it would have been a bit easier because it didn't have the same issues that American Horror Story would have. But just very strange. I would have liked... But also we've not been hearing anything about like Reservation Dogs. Oh, she's snoring away. Yeah, I definitely feel like we're in like a weird thing. Whether or not the UK team are just waiting until they get out of summer, because obviously we're just going into the summer holidays here in the UK, so maybe they don't want, especially with us all being unlocked tomorrow for Freedom Day, maybe they're holding back here because who's watching television? So many people are going to be out the next few weeks when we can get out. Sarah said, piggybacking on VCR's comment, have you enjoyed the candos and treats from the America behind the? I love the Rice Krispie snack. I love that one there. The lollipops I'm going to give to my nephews because they're going to love them. And as far as the candos, they're actually in here. There's like one down here, one here. It's actually just making the room smell a little bit nicer. So with two puppies and me, and it's just a small little room. It is. Is there a lion snoring in the background? No, it's my British bulldog. Where? Stop snoring. Yeah, there we go. So it's not a lion. It's a British bulldog. I don't know where the other one is. She's off somewhere. Let's see. That behind the attraction box was incredible. It was great. Yeah, so they were loving it. Kayla said, I know Hulu gets a lot of flack, but it's been a solid cable TV replacement regarding live TV, and their support Twitter page is responsive. I think Hulu gets a lot of bad rap because it kind of, to me, doesn't really feel like they're at a point where they know where they're going. They've kind of got all this like weird stuff on there. It's like a hybrid of what it was. It's not generally seems to have got an idea of where it was going in terms of an identity, and I think that's definitely it. Okay, so let's have a look, see what else we've got. Pity you couldn't have caught. Simba. I did put that in. I did put that in the actual thing of the. I think if we get a cat, I've definitely got a much better chance of calling it Simba. Let's jump into some other questions now. So Lady Jennifer Snow said, Wednesdays on Disney Plus are packed and Fridays now seem very light. Do you think they could rethink releasing everything on a Wednesday and split it so the days are a little bit more even? I very much noticed this with that August list because it was very, I couldn't believe how light it went on the Fridays. I mean, there's one Friday in the US where there's literally just one movie, Ergon. And I was like, really? We've gone from so much on a Friday to one movie. One movie. I am really surprised they've done that. While I understand this whole push to Wednesdays, I would have liked them to be. I think it makes more sense to spread them out rather than having 4 shows dropping at once. Whether or not they're waiting for the fall to put some more things on, or when they got some more movies to go on there, maybe that's the way they're doing it. But I'm really surprised of just how much they've shifted over to Wednesdays. Maybe the data is showing that that's a lot better. So that is definitely an odd one of why that's happening. Let's have a look here now. So Frank said, will any of the DXP shows come to Disney Plus? So these are the video game shows. Now, I would like them to be there from the idea that you could have them if you wanted them. My only problem with the video game stuff, and as someone who does enjoy video game content on YouTube, it's dates. I don't think it dates very easily. I mean, who do you want to go back and watch a video game show from 5 years ago with an old game? I don't think most people would. I think the rate, and also, have they only got limited rights because of the age of the movie, of the games and stuff? I don't know. It just feels very much like a thing for me of that might be it. And I just don't think video game content from a few years ago is really worth that kind of whole thing, really. Okay, so Frank said, I saw an early IMDb page for a costume for Nicholas that will come out in September in the US. I have clues to a potential Disney Plus release in the US. I know that's a Mexican film. I couldn't find anything on there about a release date. Disney might have managed to pick up the rights to it. You might have a little bit of a hint there. I had a look, couldn't find anything. I know it is already on Disney Plus in Mexico. So that I know it came up at least with saying Disney Plus. There's a very strong possibility of them doing something. Frank also said, since Rick and Morty he made a cameo in Space Jam 2, will you think Disney will do the same with Family Guy and Simpsons will make cameos in Disney animated movies? Simpsons, maybe. I don't think the Family Guy would. I don't see that happening. No, I can't see that one happening. Okay, last one from here. Caleb asks, Black Widow and Jungle Cruise are the only two back-to-back premium access titles for Disney Plus so far. Do you see them doing more back-to-back releases with a Delta variant being the pandemic of the unvaccinated? Ooh, right. I think obviously Jungle Cruise is the next big one coming out in a couple of weeks' time. I know this past weekend that the Black Widow movie hasn't done so well in the box office, but the movies are really like they're having a good strong out the gate where everyone's going to see them, and then those that are interested are gone, and nobody else is going. Some people are saying it's piracy because of good copies being on HBO Max and Disney Plus Premier Access and so on. I think we're very much in the case of a lot of people want to go to the cinema, but there's a lot of people that don't want to go to the cinema. And I feel like this winter we're going to have a really big push of more people are going to have to, the virus is going to get stronger when it starts getting, cooler again. And there is going to be another, more wave. Now, I don't think for anything that we're going to end up going back into lockdowns and stuff. I think it's just going to be masks, social distancing and all the rest of it. But I think the world isn't quite where sometimes also you can be in a country where everything's good and then other places aren't. Yeah, I definitely feel like there is going to be some issues this winter, and I suspect Premier Access is going to be around all through the winter because I think the numbers are just going to keep going. It will go through the unvaccinated, but you can still get it even if you've had the vaccine. So, I think you've just got to be careful, keep washing your hands, wear a mask, all the rest of it. But yeah, definitely, I think it's going to be a thing for the winter. Let's have a look here at some live comments. Let's see. So Ricardo says Hulu doesn't include Spanish dubbing for many of their content. Actually, they include more dubbing for the third-party shows than Disney-owned shows. That's because Disney doesn't own. I suspect it's down to who gives them the access to that content. I mean, I think Disney Plus, obviously, a lot of the content is available in Spain, and I think it's just one of those things of who's going to be running it. So, can Disney force Comcast to sell their stake in Hulu? I think they can. I think either one of them has until 2024, and in 2024 they can say, like, Disney can say to Comcast, right, we're buying you out, or Comcast can say to Disney, vice versa. I don't know if they can do it earlier. I think that's definitely a thing. We've just had a super chat from Dove. Thank you very much for your support. It really makes all of the difference. Really appreciate that. Thank you, Dove. What do you think about Amazon buying CBS, Viacom? How do you feel about that? What do you think the merger would look like? And then there's been lots of talk about Amazon buying CBS. There's also been a lot of talk about Comcast buying CBS, Viacom. I don't think it's a bad idea. I think we're at a point now where we need a little bit of consolidation. I think we need stronger... on one hand, I kind of think Comcast might be better for Viacom because they're kind of more traditional in how they do it. I think Amazon, I don't really know what they're going to do. They're going to keep all the television networks going. I know they're doing this whole streaming platform thing, but, I think they make most of the money from you being a Prime member, then keep buying stuff. So I don't know. I use Amazon all the time. I use Amazon constantly. I have Prime and all the rest of it, but I don't know. What about you? I love to hear from the live chat as well what they think. Would you like to see Amazon buy CBS, or would you like to see Comcast buy CBS? There we go. Hopefully that one asked that one. Let's see what else we've got in here. Why is Future Worm only available in English on Disney Plus? I remember seeing it in Spanish, said Frank. I don't know. That could be any number of reasons. NYCB, I put that in quotes because there aren't my words there from the news. So that one is coming up there. Also, let's see here. My VCR still works. Says, do you see Disney doing a documentary series on how they make their classic Disney video games? I love that. I'd love to see them do something on video games. I love to see them do that. I think that would be a great... But Disney are just so bad at making video games. I mean, now they just outsource everything because they can't do it themselves. I'm a big video game fan. But I mean, the fact that we had, like, what was it? The Pirates game... Sea of Thieves just had like a big Pirates of the Caribbean boost, and I'm like, well, why don't we just get a game? I don't know. But I'd love to see them do some documentary stuff. Maybe go see no clip because not Frank, Danny, does great documentaries. I'd love to see that. Josh has said Amazon is already having issues buying MGM purchase. I doubt the US government will be happy for them to own that, and Viacom. Comcast would have regulatory issues on both sides of the Atlantic if they tried to buy Viacom CBS. See, I don't know about. I mean, here in the UK, NBC doesn't own a major UK network, does it? But Comcast, but Viacom has Channel 5. And Lady Jennifer Snow said, "I don't think the government would put up a fight if Amazon tried to buy CBS, but no way would the government let Universal buy Viacom." Yeah, see, this is that's always this. I think it's a big thing, and also the governments right now are very much in a different state than they were obviously a year ago, especially in the US. But then at the same time, there's a little bit of consolidation along the lines of if the government, these companies can go to them and say, well, if you don't let us merge, we're going to end up losing. We're going to end up losing it. So I think that's going to be an issue moving forward with that. And Josh said, I can imagine them trying to buy Discovery, Warner Media, Comcast. Comcast owns Sky. Yeah, ugh. It's been a really, really busy, hot day. My brain is fried. Yeah, so I can't believe I said that. Oh, yeah. Like I said, it's been a really long day. Let's see. Frank says, "Why is Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius on Disney Plus in Mexico?" Probably again regional rights. There's quite often with movies you find that they make little deals to sell them individually in each country. They also get different rights depending on the country. So you'll find that a lot. Like you're saying, like with The Walking Dead, sometimes they'll pick up the rights to different shows. And things are a little bit different, but that's definitely it. Kaylee said, speaking of video games, I wouldn't mind seeing Kingdom Hearts Union Cross or Dark Road be adapted for a Disney Plus series. What do you think? And I did play some of both of those games. I really enjoyed the main games like Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, 3, Dream Drop Distance, and 0.2. As far as the mobile games, I'm not so good on the pay as you win kind of model. I did tinker about with them. But I think they would, if they're going to do Kingdom Hearts, they need to do it as like a complete reboot origin from the beginning, simplify it, make it much simpler. They can't make that series for your average Joe and do it based on the games. And I think even the Union Cross or the Dark Road video game or mobile game, again, it's leaning too much into the lore. I think they would have to really simplify it to do so. Josh said, don't worry, my brain melted an hour ago. It's just so hot here. It's just so hot. Speaking of mergers, so Lady Jennifer Snow says, could you see Disney being interested in Lionsgate or A20? I think they could be interested in both of them. And I don't think they'd have a difficulty probably getting the A. But I think all of the streamings are all circling them like sharks right now. I think it is literally Shark Fest for those two. A24 have done a lot of stuff with Hulu lately. So it's just more studios, more rights, but someone's gonna snap them up. I can't see how all these studios they can still make a lot of money now by selling content to the streaming services. So that's the good thing right now. I think there's almost some money in being independent and selling that content to the highest bidder. Here's a movie, buy it from me. Right, okay, so we just hit 8 o'clock, so that was the time I set. So if we've got any last minute questions before I head off. Again, this was a little bit of an issue tonight due to scheduling, so I did it a little bit earlier, but try to keep it on time as much as we can. I think that was all the questions. Load of live chat. Again, thank you very much for everyone. Thank you very much for the super chat. That's all really, really makes a massive difference. Joe said, when do you think Big Sky Season 2 will come to Disney Plus UK? I can't wait to find out what happens. I know it's releasing in the USA in September. I'm really hoping that Disney get themselves sorted with these international releases. Get them out the same week. It just, you can do it for some shows, but not others. I don't want spoilers. If you're going to do a mid-season break, it doesn't matter on Disney Plus. It's not like the old days. Just get it out there. Get it out the same week. Joshua said, could Hasbro be vulnerable? I think the difference with Hasbro is they're so big in terms of the toy side. And I also think Disney generally right now don't want to own... They might want the rights to some of the stuff, but they don't really want to be in the toy making business. Toys seem to be kind of dripping off a little bit. And also, it's just easy to outsource it. But they've got some IP. So I definitely can see them do, and they've obviously got a very good relationship with Disney with the amount of toys they make. Ricardo said, I don't see Johnny Neutron on Disney Plus in Mexico, but Viacom has terminated Genesis, and they're going to be on Star Plus apparently, so they might have some other agreements with Viacom. CBS, again, just more international deals. Kaylee said, I don't remember the A24 news. I don't see an acquisition due to Biden, but I can see A25 having a distribution deal with Disney for a long time, similar to DreamWorks and Universal. I think A24 is a little bit different because it's just a basic studio. Whoa, thank you very much, Sarah, for that super chat. That is fantastic. Thank you so much for that support. I mean, you already do so much for us anyway, but that is fantastic. Thank you. It really does make it. Yeah, I can't believe that. That's fantastic. Thank you. Whew. Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Frank also said, yeah, welcome, Lulu. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. She's off doing something. I don't know where she is. So I'm going to have to track her down in a minute. She's not in here with me. She's off somewhere. So probably causing some mayhem. Oh, here she is. She's just come in. Lulu. Lulu. And she's going the exact opposite direction. And she's literally now just having a pee on the carpet. So she... Lulu. Lulu. Come here. Come on, Lulu. Yeah, let's have one little cameo while she's still so little. Oh, here she is. Here she is. Hello, look. Let's say hello. Let's say hello to Sarah. See, here we go. Little cockapoo. So let's see. Right. Frank asked, could they do some short films based on Family Guy for Hulu and Star International? I think if they didn't, I think that would be a big surprise if they didn't do that. Yeah, so there we go. So right, so okay, so that is all of the live chat. Thank you very much for everyone for coming in. Thank you so much for all of your support. Thank you so much for all the super chats. Really makes a massive difference. And we're gonna now basically head off and try and cool down a bit because it's absolutely cooking. She's so cute. So cute until she starts nipping at your heels and stuff. Again, thank you all so much for being here. And again, my other puppy's snoring. It's a little bit of a madness hour today with these two, because normally when I do live chats, my wife's at home, but she's at work at the minute. So here we go. Right, thank you very much, guys, and I shall see you all real soon. And again, thank you so much for all of the support today. It's been fantastic. Thank you.